Hey y'all, it's Megan, and in this video, I am sewing up the Youth June pattern. This is a crop with a sleeve. If you want to see the other videos, then I will link them down below. The first step is going to be to sew the shoulder seams. So you're going to put your front and back pieces right sides together, aligning them along the top shoulders, and you're going to stitch the front and back together using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now this is finished with a shelf bra, so you're going to do the same with the shelf bra front and back. I realize a lot of youth sizes may not need a shelf bra, so if you want, you can fully line your top instead. It's really hot where I live in Texas, so I personally don't want to wear something fully lined unless it's absolutely necessary. So you can leave the shelf bra raw if you don't want to finish it with a fabric band like I do in the tutorial. You can also add some pico elastic, or again, just fully line it if you don't want to mess with the shelf bra. After you have the shoulder seams done, then you are going to place your main piece right side up, and you're going to place your lining or shelf bra right sides down so that they are right sides together, and you are going to sew the two together along the neckline, and you are using a 1/4 inch seam allowance here, and you're going to be adding 1/4 inch clear elastic into the seam. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. You're not pulling the elastic at all. This neckline is very wide and open, so the elastic helps to stabilize that neck so that it stays in place while your little one is wearing it. I highly suggest adding the clear elastic. I know a lot of people want to skip this step, but you might find that the neckline just doesn't hold its shape very nicely if you skip that step. Now you can use a serger like I am, and you can add the elastic at the same time, or if you don't have a serger, you can stitch the neckline using a stretch stitch and then go back and add the elastic directly on top. Then once you have that all stitched, we are going to under stitch the neckline. So you are going to open up that seam. You are going to press the seam toward the lining or the shelf bra, and you are going to stitch directly on top, catching the seam underneath. This is so when your little one is wearing it, the lining or shelf bra stays towards the wrong side and doesn't poke out while you're wearing it. You could also top stitch if you like that look better. Personally, I like an understitch. And you do need to use a stretch stitch here, so you can use your cover stitch machine, like a single needle chain stitch, or what I'm using is a longer triple stitch. You'd also just use a zigzag or a lightning bolt, whatever you want. Then you're going to press the lining or the shelf bra toward the wrong side and give it a really nice press with your iron. If you're sewing the sleeveless version, then you would go ahead and burrito roll the arm size. Now, again, if you need a video on that, I will link it down below. If you're not doing the sleeveless version and you're doing a sleeve version like I am, then you need to sew the side seams next. So you're going to open up and you're going to pull the lining away from the main, and you are going to put the front and back main pieces right sides together from the bottom hem all the way to the arm side, and you're going to pin those together. And then you're going to do the same thing with your shelf bra or your lining pieces. So you're going to put the two shelf bra front and back pieces right sides together, aligning them from the bottom hem to the arm side, and pin them together. And then you're going to stitch the front and back pieces together. You're going to do each side on your main and each side on your shelf bra or lining using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then you can press the lining or the shelf bra to the wrong side. If you're doing the sleeved version like this video, then you can go ahead and baste the two main and lining pieces together along the arm side. Then you're going to take your sleeve piece and you are going to create a memory press along the bottom by pressing a 1/2 inch toward the wrong side on the bottom edge of each sleeve piece. Then you're going to fold that sleeve piece in half with right sides together, and you're going to stitch it together on that short edge using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Repeat that on the other sleeve, and then you're going to refold up that memory press that we made and then hem the bottom of the sleeve. So you're pressing that 1/2 inch back up toward the wrong side and then using your favorite stretch stitch or cover stitch to hem the bottom of the sleeve. Then you're going to turn your bodice wrong side out and your sleeve will be right side out. And you are going to put the sleeve inside of the bodice so that the sleeve and the top are right sides together. You're going to pin them together at that seam of the sleeve and the side seam. Then you're going to pin them together, matching the notch to the shoulder seam. And then you're going to ease that sleeve in place and pin them together along the front and the back bodice. Once you have it all pinned in place, then you are going to stitch the sleeve to the bodice using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, slightly easing in the sleeve to match the arm side. You're going to repeat this on the other side with the other sleeve as well. Then it's time to finish that shelf bra. So you're going to take your fabric band piece and fold it right sides together and stitch it together on that short edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you're using the picot elastic, then you would do the same thing, just overlapping the ends by a 1/4 inch. Then you are going to fold the band in half, wrong sides together, enclosing that seam, and you are going to quarter your band piece. Then you are also going to quarter the edge of your shelf bra, and then you are going to pin the band to the shelf bra with right sides together, matching the quarter points, slightly stretching the band to fit the shelf bra. There's not a lot of negative ease here on the band, just a tiny bit. Again, I realize most youth don't need this support. So if your daughter does, you may want to check the band or elastic measurement before stitching it on. If you're doing the fabric band, then you will stitch the band to the shelf bra using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you're choosing to add the picot elastic, then I would use a 1/4 inch seam allowance because you are going to lose a little bit of length if you don't add the fabric band. The last step is going to be to hem the bottom of your crop or top. You are going to press a 1/2 inch toward the wrong side, then use your favorite stretch stitch to edge stitch that hem in place. If you did the lined version, then I would base the two together along the bottom before pressing that hem up. It just makes it a little bit easier working with the two layers. And then your Youth June top is complete. As always, if you have any questions, you can leave them down below and I will try to answer them. If you make a June top, I would love to see it. Please post it in our Facebook group or tag me on Instagram at Made for Mermaids, hashtag Made for Mermaids Patterns, hashtag June Pattern.